whichever way, by all means necessary, you must have electricity. A promise made will be a promise kept. If I can't keep the promise and I come back for second term, don't vote for me.
Hey, what's up, my people, and welcome back to Oba's Trending Gist, where we break down the talk of the town. So, a very interesting clip is making round on the internet. I know I had to bring it to you. It is from the Mic on podcast featuring the sharp and ever-probing Seun Okinbaloye in a chat with popular social media commentator, or rather a social commentator, Omojuwa. The topic, a huge one, a promise that affects every single Nigerian. President Tinubu's campaign pledge to deliver constant electricity. Seun Okinbaloye asked the simple but heavy question: can the president achieve this within the first term? Now, Omojuwa's response was, let's just say brutally honest. He didn't mince words. Before I give you my full breakdown, let's watch exactly what he said. So sit back and take a watch.
Tinubu may not be able to achieve a kind of promise on electricity as a promise in 4 years.
Nigeria is not going to have constant power supply in 2 years' time. Let's be practical. We're not. You know
So
why? We've already just had that conversation.
It's going to be a failed promise.
It's going to be a failed promise.
It's not realistic.
Nigeria, first of all, I don't know if you want to answer the question or you want me to answer.
No, it's still a question.
Nigeria is
that
not.
Promise
I'm just going to be clear.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be clear to you. Nigeria is not going to have uninterrupted power supply by 2027. One, and the reason is simple. The process of getting the players, first of all, you have to get out of the way as a government, and then you have to hope that the space is interesting enough, is exciting enough for private players to play. Those private players have to then go and raise the money and all of that. You have to build and all of that. So just it's like saying, look, God, please, somebody that has not had sex wants to have a child. No matter how much you pray, you have to wait for 9 months. You have to have that sex that day, hope that there's a conception. You have to wait for 9 months. So in the sense of just how things work, number one, Nigeria will not have constant power supply by 2027. Number two, it is not uncommon that somebody that is campaigning to the president, to be president, manages to fail at some things. In fact, there is not a single president in the history of presidents and democracies that has been able to fulfill everything they said, not one. So it is not a new thing that, and the reason, one of the reasons is because, first of all, you're a human being, you are limited. Second of all, your resources and your problems are never going to match anyway. Third of all, you're not going to govern alone. There's a National Assembly, there's judiciary. You don't have the kind of control you think you have whilst running for office. It's not the reality that you meet when you get into the office. So let's be clear, sir. Whether it's, and from where I sit, I know it's going to happen. It will just be one of those things that was not achieved. Now, those that don't want him to come back are going to hold him by what he failed on. Those that are rational are going to look at the entire picture of the promises and what was delivered. Understand?
It won't be an albatross.
Do you know why it's easy for them to understand? And that's why I said those are rational. Who is the richest person in Nigeria?
Well, by records, Aliko Dangote.
Does Aliko have everything he wants?
But why did he promise that he was going to do it?
Because it's in human nature, in government, in social systems, you do not get 100% efficiency.
Let me ask you.
100% efficiency
you heard about the coalition, and there are those who say that is a storm. I mean, you heard what Nasir El-Rufai said, that they are going to send Tinubu packing and retire him in Lagos. You think that is not looming?
It is the nature of sports for the contender to say as many things as possible. In fact, if you are not saying, you're already failing. So it is just natural. This guy just got knocked out in the 5th round. Dubois.
All right, so you've heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Nigeria will not have uninterrupted power supply by 2027. He's not saying it will be difficult. He's saying it's not going to happen. Now, let's get into my critical take on this. First, On a purely practical and technical level, JJ Omojuwa is speaking a hard, uncomfortable truth. Let's be real, the Nigerian power sector is a mess that is decades in the making. It is not a switch you can just flip. We are talking about fixing generation, which is starved of gas, overhauling a transmission grid that is old, fragile and prone to collapsing, and completely revamping the distribution network, which is where the discos have largely failed. His analogy about a pregnancy is brilliant because it's so simple. Some processes have just a natural, unavoidable timeline. You can't pray a baby into existence in 3 months. Similarly, you can't build power plants, install new transmission lines, and deploy millions of meters overnight. It takes planning, massive investment, and years of work. So, on that point, he is 100% correct. It's not realistic to expect a 4-year miracle. But, and this is a very big but, this is where my critique begins. My second point is about political accountability. Omojuwa says it is normal for politicians not to fulfill all their promises. While true, we must be careful not to normalize it to the point of apathy. The question Seun was asking wasn't just technical, it was political. Why make a promise you know you cannot keep? This promise of constant electricity was a major pillar of the Renewed Hope campaign. It was sold to millions of Nigerians as an achievable goal. So to now say just over a year in, oh, by the way, that's not happening, feels like a classic bait and switch. It raises the question, was a promise made out of genuine ambition, however, unrealistic, or was it made out of pure political expediency to win votes? That's the conversation we should be having. My third and final point is this. Omojuwa's realism, while fact-based, can inadequately create a get-out-of-jail-free card for the administration. If the consensus among commentators is that it was impossible anyway, it lowers the pressure on the government to perform. The job of the citizen and the media is to hold the government's feet to the fire based on their own promises. We shouldn't adjust the goalpost for them. The standard should remain. The failure to achieve it should be judged as a failure, not explained away as an inevitability. Because if we don't, what is to stop the next politician from promising to build a bridge to the moon only to tell us later that it was, well, unrealistic? So, in a nutshell, while JJ Omojuwa is right about technical impossibilities, we as citizens must be critical to the principal game at play. The promise was made, and the failure to meet it should have consequences at the ballot box. But that's just my take. What do you guys think? Is JJ Omojuwa a realist we need to listen to, or is he being an apologist for political failure? Was the promise a genuine goal or just campaign talk? Drop your comments below. I really want to hear from you. And of course, if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to Obas Trending Gists, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.